Shuffle Casual, my new TCG content channel, which will focus primarily on the Digimon TCG. I'm Casual Dan. This is my second video. Thanks to those of you who actually stuck through with the first. If this is your first, well, welcome. This tournament actually happened, this little event actually happened a few weeks ago. This was the first time that I got my hands on some BT9 cards that weren't pre-release. So I'm here sitting on the right playing my quickly modified Armor Rush deck. I'd only taken a few cards out to fit in Magna X and Awakening the Golden Knight. I'm playing against one of our locals who is playing Wargreymon X. So I get to start. I hatch Upa and Digivolve Jamming V and pass turn with my Dual Tamer. I seem to be happy with my hand because I know that last round I wasn't very happy with my mulligans. My opponent hatches, plays down in Agumon promo, and plays it in Agumon X antibody for 0 on top of it. Then he plays Greymon BT5 for 2. And then he gets Greymon X antibody for 0. So he's building up that stack real fast. Almost feels like he's high rolling the perfect stack right now. To eventually pass turn with 1 memory after playing down the alt art of the EX1 Metal Greymon, which is his level 5. So I have 1 memory. I will raise my Jamming V, gaining at the beginning of the main phase 1 because I have Blue Digimon from the Dual Tamer. I'm probably thinking, looking at that big stack, that I'm going to try to rush him down. Last game I kind of learned that I have to play a little bit more tempo and be a little bit more careful with my Magna X's, but I don't think that I'm trying to play the Magna X this turn. So jamming saves me from hitting into security. I hit the Wargreymon X, and then I play a Vmon that searches for free. We have a little discussion there because my target is predetermined. I can't pick the Magna X because Magna X is not free. So I grab the Magnamon there, which is probably going to become my next play, which makes sense, right? That way I put block on board, and I'm building... I'm digging further into my deck and building towards my win con. So I actually evolve on the Jamming V to stand, and I have a 7k blocker. So my opponent raises out of raising and plays a Cool Boy to go fetch an X antibody. And he plays the that's Metal Greymon. I believe it's not Alterius Mode. That's the new promo, isn't it? It's anyways, to eventually play on top of it the Metal Greymon X antibody, which gives him a chance to use Cool Boy, tap, draw, and all the shenanigans. And he also plays X antibody under his stack. Swings at my security, which will Digivolve into his level 6. He's counting up at that point. So passes memory over to 2, but because of Wargreymon's ability, that's not going to stick. But so he's counting up how many checks. He does have piercing, if I'm not mistaken, from the inheritables. So here I'm thinking... I'm letting it go through. That could have been a mistake, right? Because if I actually block here with Magnamon, yes, Magnamon dies, but I actually get to purge, and he doesn't get the 2 checks. Luckily, it was only 2 checks, and memory goes back to 0. It's his turn. See, I think I just realized that because after the attack, he destroys my Digimon, and I realized, oh, well, see, I kind of missed that. This was the first time that I was actually looking at a Magnamon X card, and I didn't realize that at the end of the attack, he was going to delete a Digimon with less DP. I should have blocked, and I would have stopped all that piercing. That's probably what the discussion I'm having. Exchanging with him that not blocking there was probably a mistake that could cost me game 1, because these games go by so fast now with these big stacks. So he drops a Searcher Agu, and Searcher Agu gets to grab a... Omnimon and a Greymon, so he gets 2 cards out of that and tucks in his... So pass his turn over to me. I'm at 3. Beginning main phase, I gain 1, and I digivolve a Jamming Vmon on top of Upamon. And I'm just looking at this big stack. I only have 3 security left. I don't know, I can't really see my hand properly, but I know that I'm not too pleased at how this is going. I believe I have Fire Rocket in hand, but that's probably not enough. And I can't play it right now. So, swing with Jamming Vmon, draw for Upa, and Jamming saves me because I crash into an Agu. Digivolve Lydramon. I'll suspend to obviously unsuspend my Lydramon and suspend his Agumon. So I'm thinking, so it's 3-3 right now for security. But obviously he's got that big stack that he managed to build up so fast and raise, and that's looking me in the face. I do play my Fire Rocket at this point, so I guess I'm looking to try to outrush him. I mean, I tapped the Tamer, so I can't be hoping that I'll actually get the Armor Purge and get a chance to untap. But I hit into his Memory Boost and into started a Greymon that only has 4k, so my Lydramon actually survives. Do I have Mega Death right here? I do not. I play the Awakening event for 3, passing over the turn, and again, I'm stuck in the same situation that I was the first game. The first round. See, being aggressive with my armor and trying to rush was pretty much the way I played it in BT8, but I'm realizing sometimes that having a Magnamon X that's tapped. See, in this situation, obviously I'm realizing again that at least the piercing won't go through, because if I save, the Digimon stays on board, he won't get the checks. So Magna X isn't that bad of a play, right? I mean, he'll attack, I can redirect, and it's not a block, so it'll go on top of the stack even if it's not a block and save my stack, so piercing checks won't happen. But having a tapped Magnamon is a little annoying sometimes. I'm realizing that I prefer having my standing Magnamon and myself taking the decisions of which attacks that I'm redirecting or not. Whereas last game in the first round, when I was playing against my opponent who was playing D Reaper, I had Magnamon a couple of times. I was exhausted, and my opponent was making the decisions into how he was stacking his attacks and basically getting rid of my Magnamon a little faster than I would have liked, or for attacks, prioritizing his attacks in an order that that was favorable for him. So I've changed my deck and my plays a little bit and rethought that. So my opponent's contemplating attacking or not now that I actually dropped the Magnamon, and I think it's changed his turn, but he's still going to go for the attack, and he's going to swing directly into my Magnamon X with his Metal Gray. So he'd have, I mean, he's going through his inheritables draw for level 2. Obviously, I have less DP, so Magnamon saves itself and goes into security. So he has his Agumon X antibody left that can actually swing. He's probably going to have, he's got so much memory that's going to Digivolve on top of it. So Digivolve into starter Greymon for 2. Digivolve into Greymon X antibody for 0. He's going to swing 6 into my Lydramon, so I'm going to purge and save it, so I'm back down to my Jamming V. He's going to Digivolve into Greymon. I forget which mode that is. That's the promo, which deletes my my level 3. So I'm guessing it deletes a Digimon with less DP. And he's thinking, I mean, he cleared my board except for the Digimon that I have in raising. And he's got a promo Agumon waiting and raising. He's going to Digivolve some sort of an Omnimon there. He seems to have Omnimon X antibody with a huge stack, so that obviously makes a big difference. So he plays the Omnimon X antibody with such a huge stack, he can just remove sources and cancel my attacks, which, I mean, having just the Vmon right now and raising, I don't see or think that I have enough attacks to come at it. It was probably a good play at the time too, because I mean, I did bring him down to 1 security, feeling good that I have 4, but with all the extra security attacks and buffs and whatnot, I mean, the X antibody Wargreymon deck can do very well against it. So I play the 2-color Searcher Vmon, which actually has to reveal 4 cards and not 3, so that was a mistake on my part, but I get one of the dual-color Tamers. My opponent still questions. Still, people aren't too sure about those 2-color searchers, whereas you can take any card as long as it has one of the 2 colors that it's referencing. So this one needs a blue 2-color card, so you can take events and Tamers, which is one of the reasons why I like it more and more in this deck, because I can actually search my Megadeths, and there my 2... am I playing 2 Megadeths or 3 at that point? I forget, but there are my Megadeths, which could have helped me solve some of the problems here on the board. But I think I'm realizing that my little 3-man Vmon army isn't standing up to super huge Omnimon X antibody and to whatever he's going to digivolve on that Greymon, plus the Agumon that's sitting and breeding in the raising area. So maybe I actually play 3 Megadeths at that time, so that's why I'm actually going to go for it and hope to survive this next round, because I have 4 security, because I could have just scooped at that point and we could have went to game 2. Maybe I'm just realizing again, or thinking that, counting the sources and realizing that, yeah, I'm not going to get through this turn, but let's see how it plays out. What do I end up doing? Obviously, we're talking about the effect and all the sources. Thanks for sticking with me, by the way. I mean, it's I realize now that I'm trying to do some content, that these content creators are amazing, and I mean, they play a lot, obviously, probably a little bit more than I have time to, being a father of 3 kids. But man, oh man, is it hard to actually voice over and comment. You have to remember all these cards, all these effects, and the game's getting bigger and bigger, and there's more and more. Congrats to all these. I'm guessing it'll get easier as I go through these videos and I make more, but congrats to all these content creators for making such good content, because, man, you guys are amazing. Now that I'm trying to do it and I'm realizing, holy smokes, there's a lot of these. So I pass over, after playing another Vmon, I pass over a turn with 3. My opponent stands and plays a Metal Greymon X antibody over his Metal Greymon and gets to trigger Cool Boy. Afterwards, he'll swing with his Omnimon X antibody, deletes my Vmon, and we knew that on top was Magnamon X. So I'm down to 3 security, and I still have 3 Vmons, but he got rid of the jamming one. So on his second stack, again, he gets his second X antibody option and digivolves into another Wargreymon X, which explains why he let one go and sent it under the bottom of the deck. And swings for, I don't know how many. I'd have to know all these inheritables, but probably way over 12,000. So first check, he hits the new Awakening Vent that lets me add a card to hand with Magnamon in its name. I choose the level 4 regular Magnamon, as I need to build on these Vmons, but I don't think it'll make a difference. He gains back 2 memory from the 2 checks. Last check was Lobomon, swings with the Agumon into my Vmon, and Blitz Omni for game. So, yeah. That how it be that sometimes, right? That's the game we play when these big stack decks get the perfect big stack right at the beginning of the game. They take control of the board and order quickly wins. So GG, that's game 1. I'm guessing I'm going to start for game 2, being put in that position again, where I'm going to try to, haven't seen what my opponent does, and knowing how I mean, my deck's changed a lot now. I believe that the armor deck has a little bit more tempo plays that it can play right now, especially to adapt to this big stack meta. But at the time at this event, this was basically a BT8 list where I stuck in 5 or 6 extra cards and made a few changes. So I don't think I had much to deal with these big stack events and big stack decks. Probably even only had 2 Megadeths. I'm not even sure. So I'm guessing I'm going to go first again and just try to outrush it. Outrush my opponent, thinking that, I mean, he is playing red, and although Cool Boy is an amazing card, and every deck that can use it should, red still has problems and jams sometimes and bricks. So it's a very strong deck. I think it counters some of the other X antibody decks very well. Sometimes the Wargreymon deck, but I mean, I'm probably hoping that he jams up and bricks and doesn't have as great a start as he did, and I get a chance to rush him with my armor. So I do choose to go first, hatch an Upa, and play a EX1 Vmon on top. And my second play is Lydramon. I haven't seen my hand. Maybe I'm actually thinking or have Megadeth in hand, but that's my green source. So my opponent starts off, hatches an egg, and there you go. So he doesn't have Rookie, and he plays Cool Boy, searching, grabbing a card, and then passes turn with tie. So I guess my gamble was right. He doesn't even have a Rookie, so hopefully I get to take advantage of it. And so I was about to drop Tamer. I forgot I'm going to raise first, and then drop Tamer. I was at 4, so that puts me to 0. Swing at security for 5k with my Lydramon, no draw from Upa. Hit into memory boost. I mean, my opponent's set for memory, but it's the other way around, right? Where he had a great start game 1, I'm getting the start this game, and he's actually slowed down a lot in kind of bricking. So I play the 2-color Searcher Vmon again, and I have plenty of options. Reveal Shaku, Magna X, and Lydramon. I do have Lydramon, probably, yeah. So I took the Magna X in those choices. I think that makes sense after I've seen what my opponent can do with his lists. Pass over the memory at 3. So my opponent did find an Agumon, plays it, and then Digivolves in raising on the starter deck Greymon for 2. Greymon X antibody for 0. Pops his memory boost to gain 2. Plays the Agumon X antibody for 3. Searches out, grabs a... That's the original, and that's an alt art original Wargreymon. So yeah, not triggering options. It's always a great option. I always love that card. That card is probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite red card. And eventually Digivolves into Greymon BT5, which gains him 1 memory, so basically cost 1 on the evolution on the Agumon. Passes turn over to 1, but I gain 2 from my Dual Tamer on Suspend, and I Digivolve a Vmon in Raising Area. So slowly but surely my opponent's coming back. He did find his Rookie and his board kind of exploded, but I do have a Fire Rocket that I play on my Lydramon. Lydramon dies on first check, and my Vmon dies on second check, which isn't so bad. So, I mean, obviously I would have liked to get a shenanigan play and my Vmon surviving that second check, or my Lydramon dying only on second check for getting a restand on Flamedramon, but I mean, I had another Vmon there, and Flamedramon swung again, gotten another check in there, and I have to purge as I hit a Alt-Art Wargreymon. But I did bring my opponent down to 1 security again, which was my whole point. Digivolve into a second Flamedramon, and I unsuspend it just in case. I'm not going to give my opponent free attacks and put my opponent at 3. He raises a stack. Plays, he has to play and pay for the Digivolution cost of his Metal Greymon X antibody because he didn't have this level 5. Plays the X antibody option underneath his Metal Greymon. And he's got 2 stacks there, but they don't look as scary as they did the first game. Swings for 5 with the Greymon and hits my Megadeth. So I get to return his Metal Greymon to hand, but that's one of the things that he actually prefers the saves on the Greymon because they actually get to save from that. Yeah, he accidentally picked up and returned the Greymon after swinging into his trash, but the Greymon had survived. And so he digivolves into his Wargreymon X antibody, pays the cost. And how many swings? Luckily, the X antibody does count as a source, so I believe his Wargreymon X will get the extra attack, right? So we're going through how many checks, so that should be 1, 2, 3 checks, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think he has much DP, maybe, yeah. So 3 checks, first check, Fire Rocket, no blockers, second check, Magnamon, third check, Fire Rocket. So yeah, I have my answer there. I was playing 3 Fire Rockets at that time, and after his attack, he kills my Flame Dramon, but I get to purge and save. So I keep my Vmon, raise the other Vmon, gain 1 memory from my dual tamer, swing with the Vmon and Upamon, and second Vmon. So that purge there actually saved me the game. I get 2 swings, and we're on to game 3. So I did manage to rush him. I guess this BT8 tactics did work against my opponent this time. He didn't get the perfect stack, and I managed to put in the aggression early. But he was starting to take over the board and take over the game. But luckily my advantage was so strong that I managed to close it out. So going into game 3. I wonder what my opponent's going to do here. I don't remember who actually ended up starting. I mean, you don't want armor, especially not armor that's really built as a rush deck like that this deck is, to go first, right? Put me in that position. But at the same time, knowing how this game just played out, how red can actually kind of brick, does he want to go second? Enjoy the memory I'm going to give him, plus get that extra card. I'm guessing he's gonna choose to go first, but we'll see. So we both set up. I'm not sure. Have we seen a mulligan? I'm not sure. I mean, locally here at TO, we here in the greater Montreal area, we tend to like our mulligan. We like the mulligan rule. So most TOs actually keep and allow mulligans here for locals. So this is just a local friendly tournament where we're trying out the new cards. He does go first. Nobody mulligans, hatches, and plays an Agumon, and then hard plays a Typh. So, I mean, no memory choking for all game. He'll be set. So I hatch Upamon, play a jamming Vmon, and then play a Vmon that searches for free. For 3, putting me to 1. I reveal, basically my only target is an EX1 Vmon, add to hand. My opponent's going to go to 3, right? So, depending on the hand I have, I mean, obviously I'm probably have lots of Vmon, so I'm going to at least play that. Oh, I choose to play a Lydramon for 2 in the back. So, well, basically, I almost took most of the memory. I put him at 2, but he started at 3, so. My opponent plays Agumon X Antibody for 0. Hesitating here, drops a Cool Boy. Cool Boy reveals 1 target. He takes the Greymon X Antibody. Bottoms the rest. Has to pay for Digivolution for Greymon X Antibody. So there you go. Again, not getting that perfect stack. Puts me to 1. I don't have a Tamer. I don't know if I have Hammer Sparked in hand. But, I mean, I have 2 Digimon and 1 armor. Fire Rocket again. Swing 5k with Lydramon. First check, crash. Luckily, I had jamming Vmon underneath for the second check, so my Vmon survives, which can make a difference. We saw it made a difference last game. Swing with the Vmon Searcher, hit into a Cool Boy. So I get, what's big thing here is I get to keep my 2 Vmons, right? With Cool Boy, he gets to grab an X Antibody option, and that's his only target. And then I pass turn with the Searcher Vmon again, searching for free. I take the Flame Dramon, bottom deck the rest. So I have 3 Vmons right now. Excuse me. And my opponent has to raise a stack with a level 4 Greymon X Antibody, who digivolves into that promo again. I guess Great Metal Greymon. As he digivolves, he deletes one of my standing Vmon. And it digivolves into Metal Greymon X Antibody. Taps 2 Cool Boy, gains 2 memory, draws 2 cards. When you start stacking those Cool Boys, that's like so strong, right? Oh, that effect. It's such a cool tamer, and the fact that he's white. It's too bad that the Kuwagamons, the regular Kuwagamons for green, are so bad, because that card would actually help green so much. I know some people are actually forcing it or playing it or don't have access to their promos, so they play them in their grandest decks. But anyway, swings and isn't that a misplay? I don't think. Did he just? Because this Wargreymon doesn't have Blitz, right? I think the X Antibody option only allows you to digivolve into Digimon with X Antibody in its traits. Am I wrong? Anyways, so gets his swings. I mean, we didn't pick it out that time. No options trigger. Both my Vmons survive. Hatch an egg. Yeah, this Digimon can digivolve into a Digimon card with X Antibody in its traits from your hand. So if that's what happened, I mean, probably have to go back and see. But if that's what happened, that's a misplay. But I mean, we didn't catch it. We didn't catch it. I'm looking at my board, and I have another Vmon in the back. Swing with my Vmon, it dies, crashing into Wargreymon X. Swing with Vmon with jamming, and I probably have armor, right? Yeah, armor, untap, tap the dual tamer, and swing with Flame Dramon for game. So I did miss that, but it didn't really matter in the end. Good game, GG. Armor takes it to 2-1. Thanks for watching.